Up next on The Bottom Line, a young Montgomery County teacher is recognized for his above-average abilities in the classroom.
These kids are depending on me, and so every single lesson has to be my best lesson, because every lesson counts. If I don't reach these kids, then who will?
Promoting a more sustainable Montgomery County, we'll take you to an energy summit where leaders call for making green life decisions.
So we are doing everything we know how to be a green county, and that is something that very few jurisdictions are.
And there's new leadership at the Department of Liquor Control, and with that comes new ideas.
My job is to turn it around, and not only turn it around, but have Montgomery County be the model.
Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Susan Kennedy. The best teachers are more than just educators. They are advocates, counselors, and mentors. Each year, the Washington Post names its Teacher of the Year, and this year that accolade was awarded to a young Montgomery County teacher who isn't afraid to be his true self in the classroom.
We'll talk about that. Morning. Morning. Good morning.
When Sean Pang came to the United States from Hong Kong at the age of 6, he knew very little English.
It was definitely a big struggle, just because I didn't know any English. So it was mostly Chinese, and it was like super limited English. I didn't even know how to go to the bathroom. And so I had to do these gestures back in elementary school, because I didn't know how to ask to go to the bathroom. So I danced around, and the teacher figured it out.
To learn English, he began reading comic books, then eventually graduated to novels.
All right, guys, if you can please go ahead and take out your notes for your Romeo and Juliet. Does anybody remember what Romeo was like?
Fast forward 23 years, and this young Montgomery County man has been named this year's Washington Post Teacher of the Year.
The Washington Post gave me a plaque.
Sean Pang teaches English at Rockville High School.
Right. And who here believes that arranged marriages are probably ineffective? It doesn't work, really.
Where he has been since he graduated from college. He credits his parents and the teachers he had along the way for where he is today.
I had an awesome experience. I went to Wooten High School, and fantastic staff there, and I think that's where I really figured out who I was. Didn't know what to do yet. I was undecided going to college, but I really knew what kind of person I am, and also how to be mature. And I guess I'm still trying to figure that part out.
But it wasn't until he reached college at UMBC that he realized he would become a teacher.
I'm somebody who wanted to help people. That was a mission that I really wanted to do. How was I going to do it? I didn't really know until college, and nothing was going to stop me.
But besides teaching 9th grade English, creative writing, and television production, Sean Pang makes himself available outside of the classroom. That's what he believes has been the key to his success as an educator. He says developing a rapport with his students is a way to make meaningful connections.
Don't bleed.
If you just have a class rule up there, nobody would read it again. But if you have something that's kind of out of the ordinary and yet effective, students are like, yeah, remember the school rules? That's it.
He'll tell you they laugh at his jokes.
Hi, Mr. Pang!
And he even invites kids to his classroom for lunch.
I mean, I think the biggest success is involvement. It's very hard to be disruptive or hate a teacher when you see them the day before at your basketball game cheering you on. So I try to be as involved as I can with these kids, whether it's through clubs or through going to a sports game or just seeing them around the halls and saying hello. And I think kids appreciate the support.
Pang sponsors several clubs and has coached volleyball at Rockville High. But probably one of his biggest accomplishments is advising the school literary magazine, Echoes.
It's all students, and it's published by students as well. They pour their hearts out into these words and paintings and pictures. And so we go through these and we choose the best ones and we publish it for them, free of cost to them. And so I think it's a great thing for kids to take home.
In order to raise money to publish the journal, Pang and his students decided to hold a fundraiser by holding a student dance. But in order to get students interested, he had to do something not many teachers would dare try.
We had to do something extreme, and a flash mob was something extreme, and it worked.
Winning the award took Pang by surprise.
Only a few get recognized by the Washington Post. So that just speaks to what you're doing.
He was up against 20 finalists.
Let me invite up Sean Pang.
Recently, the county council took time to honor Pang for his achievement, and he told the audience the first thing he did when he learned he had won.
In all honesty, this award belongs to the teachers around the world. So if you have some time today, please thank a teacher. When I first heard about my award, the first thing I did was I went back to my alma mater at UMBC, and I thanked my teachers.
His entire family joined him as he was awarded the proclamation by council members Craig Rice and Sidney Katz. Both noted his creativity in the classroom and his genuine affinity for his students.
He's doing his job, and I just want to commend him for doing that and thinking creatively outside the box. We continue to see examples of this throughout the nation, and I'm just proud to see that we have it right here in Montgomery County.
One of the things that was noted was that Mr. Pang has high expectations of his students, but he expects them to have high expectations of themselves so that every student knows that they're not alone when it comes to learning.
Sean Pang is still very early in his teaching career, but one thing is for sure. This is a young man Montgomery County parents can be grateful is in the classroom.
These kids are depending on me, and so every single lesson has to be my best lesson. And so I spend so much time planning, making sure that I'm doing whatever I can to engage these kids, because the moment I have a bad lesson, and it's bound to happen, but the moment I have a bad lesson, I have to reflect on what's going on and how can I better reach these kids, because every lesson counts, and if I don't reach these kids, then who will?
Yeah, Mr. Pang was you are my favorite teacher in 9th grade.
Well, then you should have come back and see me more.
It's no secret the Earth has limited natural resources which have to support all life on the planet. Today, there are plenty of people talking about going green and how it can impact the planet positively. At a recent energy summit here in Montgomery County, more than 200 stakeholders came together to learn more about commercial energy efficiency and clean energy right here.
As part of the county celebration recognizing Earth Month, the Montgomery County Department of Environmental Protection and the U.S. Green Building Council joined forces to host the Energy Summit with the goal of promoting a more sustainable Montgomery County.
Well, the impetus in partnership with the Green Building Council was to really have a platform on an annual basis where we can bring all the leaders together in this industry, because it really does take all of us working together on the energy efficiency side. So leaders in the property management world, leaders in the commercial building world, leaders in the government, leaders in the outreach and education world, and to have a really focused dialogue.
Council President Roger Berliner was a keynote speaker at the event.
And I'm even more pleased to say that in Montgomery County, we are among the most sustainable communities in the United States of America. Thank you very much, and you should take pride in that.
In his earliest days on the council, he made a pledge to reduce the county's greenhouse gas emissions by 80% by the year 2050.
We also passed legislation that said to our county, we need to be installing solar.
Thank you for all you do. Yeah.
The first county in the nation to make that promise. He says that goal is on track and that county government is doing its part getting there.
We have actually put solar installations on almost as many of our buildings as we feel like made sense to do so, and I was real pleased that we have been aggressive in that regard. We have solar facilities at our landfill. We are trying to help community solar. So we are doing everything we know how to be a green county, and we actually are net neutral when it comes to carbon emissions as a county. And so we are carbon neutral. And that is something that many counties, very few jurisdictions are.
There were several businesses on hand at the summit, there to show stakeholders how their products and services are environmentally responsible and resource efficient.
Well, these are insulated concrete block, and we've combined mass and insulation so we can reduce energy use. We reduce labor and material as well in our projects. So we're extremely energy efficient. Most of our buildings are engineered with half the HVAC tonnage of standard buildings. And they showed with metrics in Richmond, Virginia, and Charlotte, North Carolina, we knocked 70% of the utility bills down.
So electric charging stations at the workplace or at properties, mixed-use properties, are becoming the new HR benefit. Maryland, Virginia, and DC are becoming a new hub on the East Coast for electric vehicle charging. People historically thought, Georgia, or they thought California. They didn't really realize that Maryland's this up-and-coming program, and the state has so many different incentives and supportive programs to help workplaces, to help property owners, to help residents be able to afford electric vehicles and charging. So it's really up and coming, especially in the DC, Maryland area.
I welcome your partnership and thank you for being here.
Council President Berliner says making green life decisions is now more important than ever.
And I think that awareness is coming about at a time when we're seeing the federal government retreat. And so it is more important than ever that our local government does everything it knows how and that we take destiny in our own hands.
The Montgomery County Department of Liquor Control has been under the microscope for the past 2 years for delivery and customer service problems. But recently, the agency selected a new director who is making it his priority to make the department stronger. Councilmember Tom Hucker organized a meeting with restaurant and beer store owners to meet Robert Dorfman and find out where changes are being made.
Well, we're meeting with the new DLC director, Bob Dorfman, so he can hear from licensees directly in my district. Yeah, good to see you again. How are you? And they can get their questions answered.
I had a conversation within the last year and a half with some...
It's terrific. We have a great new experienced DLC director with a lot of experience in the private sector, and he's eager to make reforms there, so he should be hearing from the affected stakeholders, directly. So that's what we're doing this morning.
When I got a call quite a long time ago as to whether I was interested in this, the intent of bringing somebody new in was to bring in private sector experience. One thing I want to make sure is that I do address things as I would in the private sector. And if that's not how things are done, then I'm going to work hard on trying to get the county government to give us that flexibility to allow us to do that so we can be responsive and decisive in the issues that you all have. The approach that we're taking is that we've got to earn your business every single day. And then you can probably sit there and go, yeah, sounds good, but is it really going to happen? I only have one perspective on this. I mean, that's the only perspective I come from. And again, I step back, and I know Tom's heard this from me more than once. If all you really wanted was somebody to continue to operate the business the way it's been operated within the government confines and constraints that it has since Prohibition, if that's the way you want to run, why did you go out and look to hire somebody with private sector experience? It makes zero sense unless you value the fact they had that private sector experience and wanted to have that person help you get to the bottom of these issues by actually running it as if it were a business on the street. Now what's going to happen, hopefully, is we'll be able to negotiate stronger deals, more appropriate markups, which at the end of the day, should provide you lower prices. Some of you may also be aware of that in certain locations, there were sort of deals made between our store and the local mom and pop or the local beer and wine store as to who's going to carry what. Why? Because pricing was an issue. That should never be the case. Whoever walks into your business, you should be carrying, at least if there's enough volume, you should be carrying what your customers want you to carry. We should be carrying what our customers want to carry. And without any form of collusion, the marketplace should be competitive. We shouldn't be out there predatory pricing, and you shouldn't be doing either the same. Look, it's to everybody's advantage to be able to be as fully priced as possible. Why? Because you're going to make more money. It's ridiculous to think that we'd want to be any lower price than we have to. But the way our pricing system was set up caused that to happen. So we're trying to, again, to Tom's recommendation about price matching outside of, territories and stuff, we just need to be sure we're on sound ground, and we're continuously making changes now in our spirits pricing to get us to where we need to be absolutely competitive with what's going on in DC, outside of Montgomery County, PG County, and wherever else. We're looking at every single piece of this business and breaking it down and saying, if I were a customer, would I want to do business with Montgomery County and the Department of Liquor Control? My job is to turn it around, and not only turn it around, but have Montgomery County be the model.
Two of those changes that will be taking place relatively soon are, first, all county residents will be asked to show their ID at county liquor stores, and second, all county liquor stores are going to be renovated. Well, that does it for this edition of The Bottom Line. For County Cable Montgomery, I'm Susan Kennedy. Thanks for watching.